And we're on. What's up,
Hey,
y'all? Hey, welcome to the St. Cloud Urban ENT podcast, episode 7. My name is
damn.
Drew.
My name is Anthony.
Yeah, I know we're already on 7. We got 7 down, or this is our 7th.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
And Akeen is not probably going to be able to join us today. If he jumps on, that's great. Otherwise, we got 2 topics to talk about today. But we'll start off by catching up on what's going on in the music world. I know there's a bunch more releases that I'm a little behind on, but what's going on in the hip hop world or news that you know of?
Man, it's crazy. So it's been serious releases if you guys are behind. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, no, man, it dropped. A project I actually want to check out is Ski Mask the Slump God Stokely.
Yeah, yep. I haven't
I
heard
want
it
to check
yet.
that out. No, I haven't heard it. I want to check that out. And then who else?
We've got
Kodak dropped something.
I was just gonna
Uh,
say that Kodak dropped "Dying to Live," his new studio album.
I didn't even know he was like a studio album kind of a person, but yeah, cool.
Yep, it's got. I'm just looking at it on iTunes. It's got 16 tracks, and I haven't heard any of them yet. So I gotta definitely give that a shot. So new Kodak, new Ski Mask. I have not heard. There's also new Method Man.
Method just by himself
Yep, he's got a solo project called the Meth Lab 2.
because I thought he dropped a song pretty recently. Some it was featuring it was what's her name, Tiana Taylor, and it was featuring Ghostface Killer and Method Man. I don't know if you heard about that one.
Um, I didn't hear it, but I'm looking at the track list here. I think it's on here. He's got a 22 song album, the Meth Lab 2. So I definitely got to check that out because I'm a big Method Man fan.
Okay, no doubt.
Let's see what else came out. I think Big Crit's got some new music. There's a new XXX Tentacion posthumous album, Skins. Have you heard that?
I heard of it, but I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, I haven't heard it either. I heard it's real short. It's like less than 20 minutes long, but it's and the thing is, like, with those posthumous releases, they just did one for Lil Peep too. Rest in peace.
Mm.
But I don't think it's the project he would have wanted to put out because they changed some of the original songs. Like, his producer changed the arrangement of it. Excuse me. So I don't know, like, some of those where the artists have already passed on aren't always the best because they don't have any control over it.
Yeah, it's not their vision. It's not what they intended.
Right. So yeah, let's see. There's that, and then there's the Drake and Kanye things going on in the news. I don't know if you heard all that.
Yeah, I have, man. Kanye is so far removed from reality now. It's like, I don't know. So, and then if Drake is really out here moving like a mob boss, then shame on him for that. But like, it's hard for me to have an opinion on that whole situation.
Yeah, to me, like, it's hard to even follow it because it's just a bunch of crap on your timeline every day. I don't know. He's crazy.
But and then also, have you been hearing about the Cardi B and Offset shit?
Yeah, I heard that. I saw a video of, I think it was 21 Savage and Offset were performing, and they were chanting like "Take me back" or something like that.
Yeah, man. It's a whole lot of ridiculousness going on, man.
And didn't he like crash Cardi B's set at Rolling Loud?
Yeah, but
Kaylee told me about that.
yeah, he did. But I honestly feel like something like that is that would have had to been planned because Cardi wouldn't have. I don't know, man. I feel like it's. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a second.
Is that a fire truck? Oh, you went on mute. Yeah, I heard something.
Sorry, bro. Yeah. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, I'm outside, so that's gonna happen sometime.
That's all good.
But yeah, like it's the way he just came up on stage. They already had like little posts ready and set up, flowers. Like Cardi B, I feel like is somebody who's in control of her set. So like, I feel like that was planned. To an extent.
It could have been for, I don't know. I could totally see that because everyone's following that so much. Good publicity, I guess you could say.
It's interesting though. It's some of it is interesting. I click on it every now and again, but for the most part, like it's like I don't know, man. I much rather hear about. I actually don't even want to hear anything. I just want to listen to music and play games and get on. You know what I'm saying? I want to. I'm focusing on myself. You know.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get Red Dead yet?
Man, I wanted to. No, I haven't gotten it though. There's another fire truck that's about to pass by. Just to let you know. But I haven't gotten it yet. All right, now let's go on mute.
Okay. All right. Ant's on mute because there's fire trucks rolling through, I guess. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption for video games. I'm gonna get it for Christmas, I think.
Okay, and then yeah, you know, depending on my next paycheck, like I said, I'm working on myself. If I do gotta really like pay for studio time and I gotta pay for like headshots for like auditions and shit, you know, that's really what I'm saving up for. But access money is probably gonna go toward my video game habit.
There you
go. And Red Dead is on the list, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get that one. All right, let's see. Let's start with your topic today because I think mine's a new one, but we'll start with yours today. I'm curious to see what you got.
Okay, man, mine is gonna be a little different. It's gonna kind of be off the subject of hip hop, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, you ready for it?
I'm ready. What do you got?
Who is the king of R&B?
Hey, I like that. I like that topic because that's still in the realm of hip hop to me. To me, those two, it's peanut butter and jelly. Like they just go together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Blues music, rhythm and blues music, and it ties in a lot to the creation of hip hop. You know, so and a lot of the earliest hip hop songs were sampled by old jazz, funk, and blues songs.
That's where it all comes from, and that's that sound that gives it that funk that you just bob your head to.
But with the emergence of hip hop, rhythm and blues was transformed, and you know, in the whole modern sense of from like the '80s to now, R&B specifically has kind of been like his own genre, separate from the old blues and hip hop. But you know, it's all still one thing. So.
Right, absolutely. And I think it's important to talk about it because I feel like, and this is just maybe subjective to me, but I feel like R&B kind of had its golden era around the same time hip hop did. And I feel like the way it is now, it's not necessarily dying, but it's so different that it almost sounds like a different genre.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think it doesn't get as much appreciated with like today's crowd and stuff. I feel like teenagers in the 90s really actually appreciated good R&B music.
For sure.
But to answer kind of the main question, which is a fun one because we always talk, you know, who's the GOAT when it comes to MCs or groups in hip hop. For R&B, like solo acts, and I know there are some groups too, but to me, it's tough because I want to say R. Kelly is the king of R&B, but there's so much controversy around him that I think it's damaged his legacy quite a bit in probably the last 2 years.
You know what's a shame about that too?
Yeah, what's up?
R. Kelly could probably be the king of R&B, but he's tarnished his own legacy and he's from Chicago. Kanye West could very well be the king of hip hop, but he's tarnished his legacy and he's from Chicago. And there's something that just don't sit well with me with all of that, you know, like I don't know what's going on, man.
I never thought about that connection, but you're right. He is from Chicago. I forgot about that. R. Kelly is. But
yeah, my uncle went to school with him.
No shit, really? Back in the day.
Yeah, he said he said he used to beat him up, but I don't know if all of that's true. But yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, but for me, like his music, even if you just ignore all the bullshit, like his music from like the early 90s, like the 12 Play album, classic. Like if you can throw that on and it sounds so good today. But yeah, with all the crap that he's done, he's just kind of a sketchy dude, sketchy character. So it's like Chris Brown in modern day. Like it's tough to support him when he's done so many terrible things. I don't know
But
though.
yeah,
The music's slamming though. But let's take him out of the equation for a second though, like because there's other artists that should get a shout out too. Another one that I think is underrated in the R&B world, D'Angelo, definitely underrated.
oh yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Respect for that.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't get brought up as much, but his album, I forgot the name of, I think it's just it might be his named album. I think it's just D'Angelo. I think it was like 1995. That is probably one of the most classic in my top 5, like all-time R&B albums. That's a classic album.
D'Angelo is good, definitely. I feel like there's a decent amount of people that still sort of follow him, but like for the most part, yeah, he's not brought up a lot, you know. So.
Yeah, I think that his name just goes unnoticed. Who do you got for a couple other names when you think of the greats?
Well, I just want to say the reason why I brought up the topic was you know when I don't know if you heard that Jacquees guy.
Yeah, yep.
He had came out and said that for his generation that he was the king of R&B, and like everybody flipped their shit, right?
Oh, I did hear about that. I think R. Kelly actually responded to that.
Yeah, he did. He responded, and people were kind of responding in support of the case of R. Kelly. A lot of people actually say R. Kelly. Man, I would probably easily say R. Kelly if it wasn't for all of the accusations and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, I think I'm gonna start off with some groups.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Casey and JoJo, Boys to Men, and Pretty Ricky. I like all of those guys.
Yep.
Solo acts like Joe. Who else? Oh, the H-Town Boys. They had like one song that was amazing.
Okay.
And who else, man?
How about here's one. What about like New Edition and Bobby Brown?
Definitely. That I feel like those guys got to get honorable mention. But King.
And the reason I bring them up is because I don't know if you saw recently they did a TV movie. I think it was on BET. They did the New Edition story, which was like a TV biopic of New Edition, the group, and then they followed it up with the Bobby Brown story, and they had a Bobby Brown biopic. And I haven't watched it yet, but I saw the trailer, and I've been hot to watch it because the actor that played Bobby Brown, I think, did a really good job, at least from what I saw in the trailer, and he looks like him and he dances like him. And it would be really interesting, especially because I was a big Whitney Houston fan, you know, rest in peace, Whitney Houston. But Bobby, he gets a lot of flack for, you know, enabling her drug habits and things like that. But I think there's more to that story. And I think people forget about the music that he made too. He was probably the biggest solo act off of his Don't Be Cruel album with Every Little Step I Take and Don't My Prerogative. That was like his biggest album, and he toured it, I guess, for 3 years. I heard from like 88, 89, and 90. He toured the world for 3 years on one album, and he was like the 1 guy. It was crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll definitely have to check out that movie. But I feel like he gets he could be thrown into the mix, and I know he's got a lot of controversy too. I feel like a lot of these R&B artists have a lot of controversy around them.
Yeah, I feel like when you sing, you got to have a complex about you, a tough man complex or something. I don't know.
That could be it. I never thought of that.
Because everybody assumes that you're just so soft. So, you know, whenever you get a chance to, you know, poke your chest out, then, you know.
And you could say Chris Brown too. Like, you know, I remember back in our college days, whenever we had an R&B topic, it just felt like all the girls, for whatever reason, love Chris Brown still to this day.
To be honest, man, it might just be Chris Brown. That might actually just kind of be the undisputed king of R&B, rhythm and blues. It's just that he hasn't made anything like super soulful since like his very early times, you know.
Right. A lot of it is a little bit more like pop and electro, and he does rap on a few songs too.
Yeah, yeah. But man, Chris Brown, he's broken down walls when it comes to the R&B thing. So
He has, and he's super talented. And you know, when people always make comparisons to who's the closest to like Michael Jackson now, they say it's got to be Chris Brown, Usher, or Justin Timberlake. And those,
Usher, you're
yeah.
right.
Oh, I forgot about Usher.
Usher. He's in it too, man. Damn.
I might even put him ahead of Chris Brown.
I might too, to be honest, because he consistently does R&B. So
right, and he's had such a crazy career. Even with like he discovered like Justin Bieber and kind of had a resurgence at that time. And so, and all his albums are actually really good. There's not one that I think is bad, but that's subjective, I guess. But I like all Usher's albums. I recently listened to his second one, My Way from '97.
Okay, I think I remember that.
Yeah, he's the album cover. It's kind of like a above shot of him a little bit.
Yeah, my sister had that. She was geeking off of that back in the day.
Yeah, that was a really smooth album, and I don't know, it's kind of relaxing to throw that one on. I like that album a lot.
For sure. But and then you know, honorable mention just because, you know, he's family, but Jeremiah, he's definitely he's still out here doing his thing from Chicago, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to Jeremiah. He did the My Tai album with Ty Dolla $ign recently.
Yeah, I mean, and shout out to Ty Dolla $ign, and shout out to The Weeknd. Even though those guys do R&B, you know, I never really see them as like the king of R&B, but you know, shout out to the music that they made, you know.
Yeah, like early Weeknd music was definitely like I felt like a resurgence to that old like '90s R&B, but nowadays he's a little bit more pop.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking of Ty Dolla $ign, did you hear that he's like facing 15 years in prison for like cocaine possession or something?
Nah, I didn't hear that. Damn.
Yeah, he could
be crazy.
It's not. Yeah, it's crazy. Like he could be going away for a very long time, which would suck because I think it's just like a felony drug possession kind of a thing, which is, you know, it's against the law, but it's kind of stupid. Like I don't know, like he didn't hurt anybody or anything.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't get why these rappers gotta have that much cocaine on them. But then again, you know, depending on what he's been doing, like shit, he probably
Yeah. Kaylee just made a good point. She said that Demi Lovato had just caught a drug case and she's not going to jail, but Ty Dolla $ign is.
That's some wild shit. He's already in jail?
No, I guess I should correct that. I think he's facing trial for like 15. I think there was like 3 counts of X amount of drug possession, but it's like serious shit, I heard.
Yeah, that's still some bullshit. But
because he's in the prime of his career right now.
Yeah, he just made a song. I mean, it's still fuck Vic Mensa, but he just made a song with Vic Mensa that I kind of like his part on. So
yeah, Vic Mensa's trash.
Yeah, and he's also from Chicago. That shit's crazy.
Man, you got to represent and put your city back on the map because everyone else is messing it up.
Shit, I see that shit. No, man. We were talking about who we talking about?
Before Ty Dolla $ign, Usher and someone else.
You know who I also want to give? You mentioned him. I also want to give honorable mention to Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, go ahead.
I found myself really liking a lot of his music, and like I don't know, he was always like real good. And I know he started off in the group, but like his solo career is really what made him. So
yeah, he definitely went more the R&B route later in his career. He started out with the pop group NSYNC and all that, but he did his like first solo album and then the later stuff that he did with like Jay-Z and everything. He's got some soul and he can dance probably the closest to Michael Jackson. He can dance like crazy.
He's talented for sure.
Yeah, so shout out to Justin Timberlake for sure. He's got to be in there with Usher and some of those guys.
So yeah, for me, if I could say one, it's so fucking hard, man. It is. Um. Uh. Yeah. My one is probably gonna be. It's probably gonna be Chris Brown.
Okay. I'm gonna give mine to um I'm gonna I'm gonna say Usher is my king of R&B, but I think R. Kelly would easily have my spot, but he kind of fell off because of his controversy.
No doubt. And
I,
then before we, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, if we're being objective and let's pretend none of that ever happened, easily R. Kelly. But
Mm.
because I'm just gonna be a moral person and not say he's the best because of what he did, I'll go with Usher. But if we're being completely objective, easily R. Kelly.
All right, respect, respect. Yeah, I would damn near agree with you. You know what's cool about R. Kelly? He didn't need any like fancy dance moves. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just a singer, but it was so soulful and like everything was all good. You know?
Yeah, and I feel like that era was like the beginning of the New Jack Swing kind of R&B that had the kind of a hip hop edge to it. I feel like he kind of crossed over into hip hop. He kind of carried himself like a rapper, much like Bobby Brown did. Um,
That's
and
true.
and he didn't look like some of those soul singers that were in like tuxedos back in the day. He kind of looked like a rapper.
That's true. That's true. Definitely when he was coming up, when he was bald head and shit.
Yeah, that 12 play album I still have on cassette and my old school like physical collection. I'll throw that on in my car from time to time.
I'm gonna mute it real quick.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, just to wrap up, I guess for this topic, my last thoughts are Usher and R. Kelly would be my top two all-time R&B artists. Both I still listen to quite a bit. Obviously, I don't condone R. Kelly's behavior and a lot of the things he's done, but his music, if we look at it just through a tunnel, is pretty darn good.
Yeah, definitely. I can say the same thing about Chris Brown. You know, all of his stuff, the stuff that he's done. Um, we don't condone none of that because that's whack as hell, especially for an R&B singer. But like, as far as impact wise, as far as the quality of his music, actually, his early music, and just like the cosigns that he's got, I honestly think that it could be Chris Brown without too much of an.
Yeah, I definitely respect that. I mean, Chris Brown changed the game. Like in the early 2000s, he absolutely changed the game.
Yeah. And then also too, just to bring it up, because it was the topic from Jacquees, who is the king of R&B, but like the queen of R&B is Beyonce. Nobody's done what Beyonce has done. You know, she's done everything, and she's still pretty good to listen to. My favorite R&B artist ever is Aaliyah, but Beyonce is the one who's the queen.
I feel stupid for not mentioning Aaliyah. I put her in my top three with Usher and R. Kelly. Yep, definitely.
Aaliyah, she has, and it's crazy because talent-wise, I would actually give it to Beyonce, and like probably somebody like Mariah Carey, to be honest. But
Yep.
Aaliyah's voice is so soothing that she's who I default to. Like Aaliyah's my favorite R&B artist of all time.
Yeah, rest in peace to Aaliyah. She died way too young. I think she was only 22 years old. And her legacy has endured far beyond, a lot of artists that have even passed away in their prime. But I think the only reason you mentioned two other names, the only reason I don't bring up Beyonce and Mariah Carey, who are legends in the game, obviously, I just consider them a little bit more like on the pop ballad kind of side. So if we're just going strict R&B, I think more Aaliyah was more like a strict R&B kind of in that lane. Another one too that I forgot to mention that I really like is that I've kind of revisited recently is Brandy, Snoop Dogg's cousin.
Oh yeah. That's Snoop's. That's not Snoop's cousin, is it?
No, I'm not kidding. Yeah, Snoop Dogg's cousin is Brandy.
No, I don't know, because I know that was Ray J's sister.
Yeah,
I knew that, but like,
yeah, look it
I
up.
did not.
Ray J and Brandy are cousins, or no, Yeah, cousins with Snoop and RBX too.
Huh. All right, cool. And then Daz is his cousin too. So like,
Yeah, that's a really like famous extended family. A lot of the cousins are famous.
but they all from out here, and like they went to Crenshaw High, and like they was just in the mix of it. Fun fact though, my sister also went to Crenshaw High. So
Your little sister did?
no, my big sister went to Crenshaw High School for a little while.
Oh, no shit. Shout out to Anthony's sister.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy though. Yeah, Brandy, I just listened to her first album and I really liked it. I think it came out in like 94-ish.
okay.
But yeah, to me, 90s R&B is the best, so I always listen to 90s R&B.
For sure. Definitely, without a doubt.
All right. Anything else on the R&B?
No, we can skip over. I know we've been on this topic for a bit.
All right. Yeah, cool. And it might be a little shorter today because we only have 2 topics without Akeem, but that's okay. Hopefully he can join us next week. But let's see. We'll jump into mine then, I guess. And I just kind of thought of it at the end of the day because I was listening to someone who is in my top 5, which is Redman. I think I was listening to some Redman on the bus on the way home and just kind of chilling out. And I was like, hey, we should talk about, how he has like a lot of skits that are kind of comedic. And I was like, we should talk about comedic rappers or rappers that have comedic elements.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever talked about that because I feel like there's a lot of rappers that are like try to be funny or incorporate comedy into their music, even if they're not like for example, one that I think of today that's like a comedic rapper is like Lil Dicky. He does it to be like funny. It's kind of his shtick. But like Redman's like a legit rapper, but he's kind of a goofball personality too.
For sure.
So like, who are some rappers that are kind of comedic in either their personality or music? But yeah, Redman was one that jumped out right away. But what do you think?
I mean, there's definitely a lot to talk about that. There's we got Eminem, Ludacris. We got if we're talking about comedians slash rappers and not rappers slash comedians, DC Young Fly. Basically anybody who made it onto Wild 'N Out, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Shit. He kind of gets taken as a joke sometimes. So Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know. And then
I
said Little Dicky.
Another one would definitely be everyone in Odd Future, Tyler and them.
Yeah.
They do.
Literally like cartoon characters.
Method Man and Redman, when they're together, are pretty funny.
Yeah, Method Man is very serious when he's by himself, but together, yeah.
Yeah, because like they did like the How High movie and everything. Lil Yachty does some comedy, or his personality at least is kind of a goofball.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just think there's a lot of comedy in rap. It's not always all serious. There's a lot of just goofing off, which it makes it fun too. You could say Eazy-E too.
Yeah, the earlier Eazy-E, when I feel like he was, a lot of it was being written for fun.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that stuff was just kind of fun back then. And I think once he really like broke off, I think he got either some more serious ass people to write it, or he just became very grim and gangster. But definitely like the earlier NWA stuff.
Yeah, he definitely had a few songs. I think he had a song "Automobile." It's pretty raunchy, but it was like a funny joke. You can hear the guys laughing in the background.
Yeah.
He had that really whack Christmas song that was like supposed to be funny.
Gucci Mane has a really whack Christmas song too. I don't know if he's meant to be funny in that shit, but like it was cringy. So
East Atlanta Santa.
Shit was crazy.
Oh man. Let's see. Who else was I thinking of? You could say Snoop Dogg too a little bit. Especially as he's evolved, has become more of like a comedic figure.
Mm-hmm.
He started off like really hardcore, I feel like, in the beginning. And then he's kind of, he's on the game shows and he's all over media now.
And then I mentioned it before, but the reason why I feel like I attach so hard to people like Ludacris earlier on, because you know, obviously I was a kid, like not even like 6 or 7 years old when I discovered or Ludacris was being played around me, you know, and I would see his music videos. And he has like a big ass head and like big arms and all of that shit. And it's just like he was a cartoon character, and I think that's what attracted me to him first. But then I started to listen to his albums, and like he's actually pretty lyrical as well. So
Yeah, I think Ludacris is kind of the prime example too of like he's a serious rapper who's like super dope lyrically, but he also in his music videos and stuff. That's what I actually really like about him. He doesn't take himself so seriously all the time. Like he knows he's good and he's confident in that, and he doesn't have to show how hard he is all the time. He can just be a goofball because that's his personality, and I respect that in him.
and he has like his serious songs are like sincerely serious, like Runaway Love, Slap, even though that can be kind of interpreted as funny. War with God, like he has like very serious topic songs, but then you know, like he can switch it up and it still sounds like Ludacris. So
Right, like yeah, you look at his song like "Runaway Love," which is an amazing song. That's like I compare that to like "Brenda's Got a Baby," like Tupac. It's kind of one of those really socially conscious songs.
yeah,
And then,
featuring a legend too,
and
Mary
then
J. Blige.
and then you look at like kind of the opposite for both of those guys. Like Tupac could do, you know, "Brenda's Got a Baby," but then he could do "I Get Around," which is like a fun song. And then
Yeah.
you could do Ludacris with "Runaway Love," and then he does like "Grass Is Always Greener" on the other side, which is like a funny song.
Mm-hmm. Now and then, also too, just to get this off, Eminem, that "Feels So Empty Without Me" music video.
Yep.
That was a great video, man. Back as a kid, like I said, man, videos like that is what drew me in, you know. So
Yeah, you can't not mention Eminem when you talk about like funny, because he came with like the shock value for the early 2000s, but he also had such a goofy personality that was like so over the top. We didn't see another like rap star that was that out there. And a lot of it for the time was really funny to a lot of his fan base. Some of his stuff hasn't aged that well, but he's no doubt a legend and probably, arguably one of the top guys ever. But yeah, he definitely started off his career with the goofy side, the funny videos, the "Hi, My Name Is" video and all that.
for sure.
Which is kind of crazy since he was linked up with Dre, who there really wasn't nothing funny about him until he linked up with Eminem.
Yeah, for the most part, Dre's always seen, especially when like everybody when once NWA kind of split off, everybody got like super like hard and tough, like, you know. So I don't know. And then I think it was a business decision at the end of it all, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know the real story of how he discovered Eminem. Some people say he someone slid the demo tape under his door or something. But however they linked up, the rest is history. And it is definitely a business move that's paid off for both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess here's like a sub question then is like, do you think it hurts or helps an artist to have a comedic side in their music or their personality?
Something you mentioned, you said that a lot of Eminem stuff hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because like his more serious songs do age a lot better than me. So to a point, like if you're trying to get on immediately, because you know the easiest way to get on is to make somebody laugh, and that's even true for an actor. If you're funny, you can most likely get into, you know, a romantic comedy a lot faster than you can get into like a dramatized, I don't know, action, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to make people laugh because people will instantly resonate toward that. But then for like the longevity of it, you know, unless it can stay, first of all, relevant through the time, and you know, if it's really just that funny. If it's not those things, then it's probably not going to last. So,
all right, here's one for you then, and this is going a little bit off the topic of the actual rappers that are funny, but let's talk since we're talking comedy, who are your top 3 or 5, whatever you want, comics of all time? Actors.
Comedians?
Yeah, actors or comedians.
Ooh, man, I might have to go with okay, now see, but there's like a new wave of comedians, right? Where they're like internet funny. So are we counting internet fun? No, let's stick with the classics first.
Okay, let's talk classics and then we'll talk new guys after that.
I honestly think Bernie Mac I say Bernie Mac number 2, Kevin Hart number 3, but number 1 has got to be Cat Williams.
Yeah, Cat Williams is hilarious.
It's just got to be for me, you know.
Okay, that's a good list. So wait, you said 3 was Kevin, 2 was Bernie Mac, and 1 was Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good list. I respect that list. I think my top 3 would have to be 3 Bernie Mac, 2 Dave Chappelle, and one Eddie Murphy. For me.
Okay, respect.
For me, Eddie Murphy's early stand-ups, his first 2, Delirious and Raw, are just so classic. And then obviously Chappelle's show was one of my favorites as a teenager.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I definitely respect that. That makes sense.
And the Bernie Mac show, of course, which I actually didn't watch when it was on the air. I was pretty young yet, but I've recently rediscovered how funny he was in that show.
Yeah, and that was his family-friendly side, you know?
Yeah, he was definitely raunchier when you watch like Kings of Comedy with Steve Harvey and
oh yeah, a lot of the jokes he said probably wouldn't be acceptable today, but like he was just funny, man.
Yeah, some of them weren't PC because I think Kings of Comedy was like 2000 or something like that. Today he probably wouldn't get away with some of like the sexuality jokes and stuff, but
yeah, the mental jokes too, like his.
Yeah, yep.
He said some shit. He said some pretty bad shit, you know.
Yeah, that one bit with the bus driver probably wouldn't fly today.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace to Bernie Mac. He was hilarious. And the thing about him too is he caught on later in life. He was like a delivery man until he was like 40 or something, and then he got into, or maybe not 40, but like his mid-30s, he took off into, I think he started one of his first, well, the Def Comedy Jam was when he kind of got on, and then I think he had a small part in Friday too.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. And then from there it took off. You know, he was in a bunch of stuff and got his own show. But yeah, he's a legend. But it's kind of fun because I love stand-up comedy, and I love a lot of those classic actors that we just talked about. The Cat Williams specials. His first one was it the Pimp Chronicles? The first one?
No, I don't know if that was his like very first one, but like that's got to be like one of the most famous stand-up comics. I mean, stand-ups ever, to be honest. Like, I feel like the way people kind of go back and look at Richard Pryor.
Yep.
You know, the next generation up is going to look back at Cat Williams, and that shit is just going to be hilarious. So.
And I would say Richard Pryor, but he was just a little too before our time. I've watched Richard Pryor a lot.
And it's funny as hell too.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was just a little too before my time, but I still appreciate him as being like the GOAT. You know, a lot of people say.
For sure.
But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, was the Pimp Chronicles the one where Cat was like in the green suit?
Yeah.
That's my favorite one. I think I've seen like 2 or 3 of his on Netflix, but that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that shit is funny. I remember being young, and like he would have me laughing so hard that I felt like I was honestly gonna die, and I had to leave out of the room crying, literally tears, and like clutching at my stomach. I couldn't fucking breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just so funny, bro. That shit was so funny.
Yeah, the one his joke about like meeting Shaq for the first time.
Yeah.
I like died at that one.
Everything was just so fucking funny with him. Yeah. Honestly, go ahead.
Oh yeah, he was just funny and like he's like a little guy too, you know. He's like short and he was so tough, you know. I think that was part of why he was so funny too.
Yeah, he's somebody else too that it seems like, you know, his legacy is kind of like falling behind him. I don't think he's so much messing it up as it's just, I don't know, it's kind of falling behind him because he seems to be bitter. He still needs to be bitter at Kevin Hart's success. But man, I think Cat Williams is the funniest person, man, ever.
Yeah, he's so funny. And Kevin Hart for me is he's probably the biggest comedian like in the world right now. But to me, I never caught on as much. Like I've watched some of his stand up and I think he's hilarious. And his movies are I think he's funny in movies, but I just can't rank him up there with like some of those other guys I said for some reason. I don't know what it is.
The thing is, like the earlier Kevin Hart for me was better. When he was doing his earlier movies, and I don't know, he had actual funny content. And now when he's like kind of screaming like and like moving his arms really fast, people consider that funny. And I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like when he actually just like tells jokes like in his earlier stuff, it's funnier than when he's just really hyper on stage all the time.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people that like love him and think he's just awesome. He has a huge fan base and he sells out like stadiums.
Yeah, all the time. So
another one that we forgot to mention is Eddie Griffin. I think he gets underrated sometimes.
Man, yeah, you're right. Oh, I do like Eddie Griffin.
Yeah, his HBO specials are some of my favorite, like from the earlier 2000s.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Eddie Griffin, man, he might creep into number 4 spot for me.
Yeah, Eddie's definitely on the cusp of my top 5, I would say. Maybe 6 slot, something like that.
Yeah. And then shout out to Cedric the Entertainer.
Yep, I think don't quote me, but I think he's Akeen's favorite. I know Akeen loves Cedric. And to me, he was the funniest one on the Kings of Comedy because his joke about the spaceship that was one of my favorite skits he did.
Yeah.
Where he's like he's riding the spaceship like a Cadillac.
Yeah, I remember that part. He had to like turn down the music to park it or something.
Yeah, when he parallels, he had to turn down the music.
All right, hold on, damn, another damn fire truck. Hold on. Is it coming this way? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead on mute for a sec.
All right. That's like the 5th fire truck. I hope you're nowhere near those wildfires that are going on out there. Because I've heard all about that in the news. You're still on mute.
Oh shit! I was saying that we right by the fire station. That's why you hear so much.
You're not close to like the fires though, right?
No.
That's like Northern California a little bit, or?
No, it's in this area, but like I'm lucky enough to not have been by it. So.
Yeah, because I've been hearing about how that's been like wiping out houses like crazy. So that's terrible.
Speaking of R&B, since we talked about R&B today.
Yep.
I might have mentioned it earlier, but August Alsina, his house was actually burned down by the fire. So.
Oh shit! Yeah. Another new wave artist that gets underlooked at. I think he's got some good stuff. He has a song that I really like. It's with Lil Wayne and Currency. I think it's called like Bottom of the Bottle or something like that.
Yeah, and he's a damn good singer, to be honest.
Yeah, he sings the hook on that song, and I kind of like it. And Wayne has kind of a nice flow on there. That's a good song.
Yeah, but what were we talking about? Comedians and funny rappers.
Oh yeah.
But
oh, go ahead.
If I did want to mention some of like the internet funny people.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about the newer guys. Yeah, that's right.
And it seems like too, because a lot of these newer guys, at least the ones who are becoming funny, like doing funny skits, they started off rapping and it didn't work for them. So then they went on to do just like skits and whatnot. DC Young Fly is actually one of them. He started off actually wanting to be a rapper. And then he just was funny online.
I think he's really funny, by the way. I'm a fan of his. I think, and I don't know if you heard this rumor, but I heard, and we forgot to mention Chris Tucker, he's probably in my top 5.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
He's definitely a new age Chris Tucker.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gets compared to Chris Tucker a lot because they're both from Atlanta and they both like kind of have that high pitched delivery.
It seems like every funny person from Atlanta sounds like that.
Oh, Mike Epps is another one. He's from Atlanta too. There's so many good comedians. But DC Youngfly, there's rumors, and I think if you watch his interview with DJ Vlad from not too long ago, he says he really wants to do, if they do a remake of Friday, he wants to be Smokey and then play Craig would be Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jr.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I don't know if they'll do that, but that'd be amazing.
To me, that would be the only way to do it if they were going to bring it back, because I mean, unless they had Chris Tucker and Ice Cube, but I don't think that would ever happen, like the real guys. Chris Tucker's he's so expensive, apparently. Like, he was the most highest paid actor after Friday in Hollywood for a while. And I don't think he kind of went back to the church, so I don't think he wants to do that again.
Yeah, that's true too.
But I think if they were gonna do like a younger generation reboot, those two guys would just kill it. I think it would be hilarious.
And then other than like DC Young Fly, I think somebody else who's really like funny is Hi Davis, and a lot of people don't know him by name, but he's really been blowing up. And he's the guy that was on the beginning of the Chance the Rapper song No Problems.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you don't want zero problems, big fella. Yeah. That guy that's Hi Davis, and he's like funny as shit. So
okay, I'll have to check him out. I'm not super familiar, but yeah, I know that voice on the beginning of the track. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fool, man. If you type it in on YouTube, you'll have a couple of hours of entertainment.
All right, I'll check him out. Another one too. I don't know if he's really doing the comedy thing anymore, but he got famous for it, I guess, is Boonk, or the Boonk Gang. You know him?
And he's also a rapper. Like, he actually started off really doing like rapping, and then he got on that Boonk shit, and then so yeah, that definitely.
He started doing the pranks and stuff, but I think he's going back to being a rapper nowadays. I heard.
But yeah, I think he's getting too famous to really do that shit anymore. But he's really been going through a lot of depression shit too. So
yeah, I saw that interview with Vlad where he was just like totally out of it, and he wouldn't answer any questions. And to me, it looked like a cry to help, like he wasn't doing so good. So hopefully he gets help or whatever. But he got kind of big on the comedy thing, and now he's going back to rap, which is kind of the opposite of like DC. He did kind of the flip flop of that.
22 Savage. His comedy name is Funny Mike, but when he was trying to rap or whatever, I think he was calling himself 22 Savage. But I don't know. I think, first of all, he's a lot funnier than he is a good rapper, and I think that whole 22 was just kind of the mock 21 when he was kind of doing that thing. He's on Wild 'N Out, so he's doing his thing.
Yep. I think he just did that to kind of get attention right away, because 21 was a big rapper at the time. I mean, he still is, but yeah, he's a funny dude, and I think he's kind of found his lane. So shout out to him. But yeah, it's funny how it's so different now, where you see a lot of the guys that are getting blowing up, that they're like Instagram funny, and then they find their way onto TV or movies or things like that. And some of them cross over and use rap to a platform. Like if you look at Lil Dicky, he uses rap as a platform to get. His dream was to do like a sitcom or like a funny television series. And I think I heard he's in production to do a TV show. He got there with his rapping, which is kind of cool.
That's an amazing story. That's true. That's definitely something, because who would ever fund him if they didn't take him seriously? But rap is what made people take him seriously. So that's pretty cool.
And shout out to him, because he's got such a big following. A lot of college kids, find his material really funny. And when I first heard him, I thought he was pretty hilarious. But he's got like I think he has a Trojan condom endorsement, so he's getting paid off of that. he's in demand in Hollywood now, and like he said his dream was to work with like Seth Rogen and like James Franco and those guys, and it's like literally happening, and he just started rapping to get there. And he said he never like thought he was going to be a rapper or anything, but he's a talented guy, so shout out to him.
He does a good job. He does a good job. So, who else, man? If there's somebody, B Simone, she does like rap videos and songs, and she's on Wild 'N Out for being funny and funny skits. So.
Yeah, a lot of the Wild 'N Out cast members are just super funny individually, and then when you get them all together, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, Emmanuel, like pretty much every single person on Wild 'N Out nowadays, they have to be funny rappers because it's freestyle comedy. So.
Yeah, and when they do the actual like contests on the show where they have to rap, a lot of them actually like can do a little something, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Shout out to all the battle rappers on there because them dudes got punchlines forever. So like, shout out to them.
Yeah, that would be another fun topic for another day. Not to spoil it if we ever do it, but like battle rap, I don't know if it's not super popular nowadays, but like some of those like Smack URL YouTube battles are pretty cool.
But yeah, for sure. And then I think that's pretty much all the people from the new school that I really like. But like these are the guys that make me laugh on a daily basis. So, you know.
Yep, and to me, it's like a lot of those guys you named, and then a lot of the legends that I'll go back and just throw on their like stand-up specials. Always brings a smile, and they kind of have their place in hip hop culture as funny comedians that have done maybe like a hip hop based movie or something like Friday. Some of the guys in there, or like Wild 'N Out's kind of a hip hop show. So they find their place in hip hop culture through comedy, and I think that's cool that there's an avenue in hip hop that's comedic too.
Yeah, definitely. I think shows like Wild 'N Out, and definitely movies like Friday, they brought in some legendary status due to the fact of how entertaining they can be. So that's more shout out to the comedians, that contribute.
For sure. I guess that's all I had on that topic, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk comedy. So
yeah. Shout out to Redman because he's the one that sparked it for you. Redman definitely had his share of comedic moments. One of his like iconic comedic moments for me is when he did MTV Cribs.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite Cribs ever. Where he does like his just rundown house in Jersey or whatever.
Yeah, and you know how everybody has to have super clean shit. He was like, nah, man, this dirt everywhere. Like, this is how I live. And then like going through his pornos and all of that shit.
That's definitely the best episode of Cribs when he's got a dollar box on his fridge. It's like a shoebox with money in it.
Yeah. Humble guy.
Yeah, to me, I just love that because it's like that's what my room looks like right now. Yeah, Redman, he always kept it real. That was a funny episode of Cribs. Like, I feel like a lot of people just related to it.
I definitely did, man. But because as a rapper, and there was a time where I honestly thought rappers were just automatically millionaires, right?
Right.
Especially since every rapper that I would like see, they have like this big fancy like beautiful house. And Redman was like one of the most humbling people to see like his house, and like it was actually different from where I could have been living at the time. It was humbling because it was like, damn, like this is somebody that everybody looks up to. He's on the Def Jam games. He raps with Method Man, all of this shit, but he lives just like me. You know what I'm saying? So like it was humble.
Yeah, I might have to go back and watch it now that you brought it up. It's just so funny how he's just like walking around his crib. He's like showing like his shampoo in the shower. It's just like normal shampoo, like nothing.
Yeah, his like one man studio where he had like it wasn't even that fucking fancy to be honest, man. Like it was like fucking trash to be honest. But.
Yeah, it was just like a townhouse or something, and it was just like his cousin was like living there with him, and it was just like so like what any of us would have been living like at that time.
Yeah. It's humble. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. I hope he's, to be honest, I hope he's living better nowadays. But knowing him, he probably isn't, just because he doesn't want to. So
The funny thing is, I would like to think that if I was in his shoes or like had his status, I feel like I would want just like a normal house too. But maybe not. Maybe I don't know what I would be thinking at that point.
yeah. I definitely would live, a couple notches above the way he lives with his money. But it was just humbling to see. So
Yeah, it was, and like it's crazy to see too, like someone like Eminem who like came up like living in like the trailer parks in Michigan, and now he has a mansion in like Oakland or something that's like just massive. But like when you saw before he got famous where he came from, and like I mean it was even lower than that, and it was just crazy. So many artists come from places like that, and then they just like get the American dream. It's crazy.
it's a beautiful thing, man. It is.
Yep, and it's just so cool that they can have those opportunities through a culture that started 40 years ago.
Yeah, and still thriving in his very own way today.
Yep, ever evolving. That's why we love it.
That's why we celebrate it, man.
Alrighty, I don't think I have any other news or notes. Otherwise, we can get to wrapping up. Akeem didn't make it today.
Yeah, we'll get on him next time about, what I'm saying, being on time and getting off work so we can do the podcast, man.
Yeah, and yeah, I see him around from time to time. So hopefully, I can get to see him maybe before or after Christmas here, and then we'll get back. Oh, yeah, we probably won't do one over Christmas because I think that's next Monday, Tuesday. But,
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But,
but what I'm wanting to do, just to run by you. Oh, that's a big ass truck passing by. Sorry.
Big ass truck rolling through. Hold up.
But yeah. So I'm wanting to take all of the videos that we've done so far and put them directly on Facebook and kind of like release them as actual episodes with an intro and all of that stuff. So we might do something like that.
That'd be awesome, and you have the kind of the skills to doctor it up a little bit because you've done like our intro or our promo video. We could do like something like that.
So yeah, I'll probably release like one a week, and then do something like that so we can do that, and then the live shows we can always continue to do the live shows, but I'll just release those on Facebook just so people can have them.
Yeah, I like that because, like, it looks like we didn't get any viewers today, but I think we get a lot, and that could be because people are busy, but I think Akeem talked to some of our friends from back at school. I think, like, Travis said he likes to tune in or watch it afterwards. My brother checks it out definitely from time to time. So I think people watch it afterwards just because they might be busy at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever. But
we could also do, my bad, we could also do, like, guest appearances, man, like, we know Travis knows his shit. Another big ass truck, sorry. We know Michael knows his shit. We know Matt knows his shit. So like they could be guest appearances.
I was just thinking that would be a really good idea because we have so many friends that could contribute to the conversation too. So that would be fun to get a few more faces on here. I think that'd be a fun thing. I would be totally down to reach out to some of those guys.
All 2019 plans. So.
Yep. We'll grow the brand and we'll keep evolving this thing. It's fun to do, and I think the quality will get better. But yeah, I'm down for guests, intros, re-release, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. And as I write up the plan for like next year, my personal plan, I definitely want to do a lot more with this podcast. So.
Yeah, I think we could. I think we've had a good start. I think we started. When was it? Was it summer or maybe it was fall when we started? I think it was fall when we started this.
But it was actually, it hasn't been like late September.
Okay, yeah, so it was like, around the fall. But yeah, we've been doing this for a little while, and I think if we could definitely continue to grow it, and I think it's always something that eventually when your music comes out and everything, it might be another avenue too for just, getting recognized if we keep improving it. Maybe we can get better mics or whatever, or change up the format. So I think it's good. I think it'll improve over time. I think it'll be fun. Like, even if, let's say this goes on for a couple of years even, it'll be fun to look back at the very first episodes and we'll be like, oh, how shitty these were.
For sure, man, for sure. I think that'll be, seeing the growth will be definitely, so it'll be worthwhile, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think they'll get better over time. But in the meantime, it's fun to just talk hip hop and get the topics. I think the content is always the most important, but the presentation will clean up a little bit.
Right on. I'm walking over a highway right now, so it's kind of loud. But
okay,
yeah.
We'll go ahead and end it here. We'll wrap it up. So we'll be back not next Monday because it's Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everybody. But we'll be back probably in 2 weeks, or maybe we'll do a short week thing if we're in contact or something.
No doubt. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and to everybody who celebrates what they celebrate, happy everything, happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays to all, not just Christmas. All the holidays.
All right, man. My phone is about to die. I've been on here for a while.
Okay. All right, bro. I'll talk to you in a week or two.
Yeah. Cut off the episode. I just want to talk to you a bit.
Okay. Peace out.